Right now on CBS News Bay Area, our first real taste of that spring heat. Who saw the highest temperatures and how long will this warm weather be sticking around?
And as the warm weather returns, we're going to meet the residents still cleaning up from this past winter, where a washed out road is turning a simple errand into a major ordeal.
Big changes coming to your power bill. The details on a new flat fee and electricity costs that could drop for people who use a lot of power.
And the fight over the name change of Oakland Airport takes a major step forward. The city's plan to keep the name San Francisco away from the town.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Well, if you stepped outside, you know the sun was out in full force today as we are getting the first taste of spring heat all across the bay, and people are out taking full advantage. In fact, we're seeing some of the warmest temperatures of the year. Good evening. I'm Ryan Yamamoto.
And I'm Elizabeth Cook. The readings into the 80s in many places, touching off a bit of spring fever around the Bay Area. The beaches in San Francisco and Pacifica were more popular. We even saw some folks splashing in the waves. Well, down in San Jose, a lot of people out in the park enjoying all those gorgeous flowers in full bloom.
Yeah, I think maybe summer is finally coming.
Stoked to have the sun back, stoked to get back outside and just enjoy the day.
So let's send it over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Hagan, to find out who's feeling the heat the most.
As usual, it's inland parts of the Bay Area that are warmest, with temperatures still running in the 80s right now. But where temperatures are in the 70s in San Francisco, it was close to 80 degrees early today. And where it's in the upper 50s at Half Moon Bay, you were in the 70s this afternoon. And then that onshore breeze returned. Not seeing the deep marine layer and all the fog returning just yet, but a big drop in temperatures, which was anticipated. And temperatures have been dropping in San Francisco as well since topping out around 80 degrees. The winds have been dying down. The offshore breeze, rather, not nearly as strong as it was 24 hours ago. The onshore breeze returning closer to the coast. So these kind of meeting in the middle. The winds are going to determine how much we warm up or don't warm up over the next few days, with a light offshore breeze keeping inland parts of the Bay Area warm, and the light onshore breeze trying to keep coastal parts of the Bay Area still on the cool side. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures warming up to still above average levels across the entire Bay Area, but then we start backing down near the water as we head through the weekend. I've got details in the 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Paul. Well, even as the warm weather begins to heat up this week, a number of neighborhoods all throughout the Bay Area still dealing with the after effects of winter storms.
That's especially true for folks living along Mountain Charlie Road in the Santa Cruz Mountains. That's where a massive landslide has cut a community in half. So even though spring weather has arrived, the winter headaches remain.
Yeah, our Devin Feely spoke to neighbors there, and Devin, folks are still really struggling.
Absolutely. For people living in that area, even a minor errand, going to the grocery store, picking up your kids from school, has become a major inconvenience. They either have to hike across an active landslide or drive miles out of their way. And it's even worse for the families who can't drive in or out of their driveways because the slide is virtually on their doorsteps.
But we've never had this kind of an issue or cracking of any kind, or it kind of is out of nowhere.
Amanda Watson is one of the 13 people who live in the half-dozen homes directly above the slide on Mountain Charlie Road.
Going in and out, it's been challenging is an understatement. It's hard to, really express how this has affected every single part of our lives.
Amanda says the road began to fail in late February, first beginning with a spider's web of cracks in the pavement, and then the whole hillside, saturated from winter storms, began to slough off and slide down. The county estimates the road has dropped roughly 11.5 feet since March. That's enough to swallow an average one-story home.
We estimate that it'll take about 1 to 3 years for us to fully repair Mountain Charlie Road. That road is still moving. It's moving about a little over 1 foot horizontally and 1 foot vertically a week.
Tiffany Martinez with Santa Cruz County says until the slide stops moving, they can't really come up with a plan or start repairs. And that's not the only challenge. The county frankly doesn't know where the money would come from to make the repairs.
There's a lot of uncertainty with the future of Mountain Charlie Road. Given the timeline is only an estimate, given the finances is still in the works.
That's frankly not the news that Amanda and her neighbors want to hear. The road grows worse by the day, and so too does their inconvenience and impatience. They fear that they are running out of time and options.
There's no way to get out. I mean, we'd have to carry everything or leave it. Nobody's going to rent the place. Nobody's going to buy the place. I mean, we're all stuck, all of us on both sides of this disaster.
The county is actively trying to get money from the state or federal government because there really is no point to having a plan to repair the damage if you ultimately can't pay for it. Liz, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Devin. Another concern as the weather changes, the fire danger. Coming up at 5:30, we're going to ride along, or should we say fly along, with California smoke jumpers who dive 3,000 feet into the center of wildfires to battle flames in places that, well, typical fire crews cannot reach.
I experienced stuff that I'd never seen before.
The whole thing is a pure adrenaline rush.
Our Itai Ha joining forces with the newest batch of California smoke jumpers. Their story coming up at 5:30.
Well, a lot of you probably turned on your AC for the first time this year today. And of course, you'll pay for it on your next PG&E bill. Here's some good news, though. State regulators just approved lowering electricity rates. But as our Amanda Harry reports, there's something else you'll be paying for.
And we say, how many households are going to see a significant bill increase? Almost 4 million households, over half.
A controversial change to utility bills, a new fixed fee after many customers have already been hit by a series of rate hikes. Josh Plaisted is the president of Flagstaff Research, a company that creates and distributes products in the energy market. He also rents an apartment. He says he's the type of person who will be negatively impacted by this change.
A significant amount of renters are going to pay more, and a significant amount of single-family detached homes, high usage, are going to pay less.
On Thursday, the California Public Utilities Commission approved a two-part strategy to restructure residential utility bills. For many PG&E customers, it would be a fixed charge of about $24. But for low-income households, they'll pay either $12 or $6. People are already paying these fees to some extent, but it was charged based on kilowatt use.
Basically, you paid for the energy you used. There was no fixed charge. It was like pulling up to a gas pump and you paid by the gallon. And so now they're proposing putting in place a fixed charge that's unavoidable. You have to pay it.
Plaisted says for people with smaller spaces who aren't low income like him, they'll likely end up paying more for the fixed rate because they don't use as many kilowatts. It's the big energy users who will benefit most.
I live here in a just under 1,000 square foot apartment, so my bill would go up $225 a year. The house in Rockridge would break even, and a larger house, say, go out into Walnut Creek with a swimming pool, something that uses twice the Bay Area average, would be saving a little, almost $400 a year.
But UC Berkeley professor and the director of the school's Energy Institute, Severin Bornstein, says it's not a rate increase, and the amount the average bill will go up is a lot less than $24.
For the average customer who is not on the low income program, it's going to be an increase of about $3 per month.
Bornstein says this fee won't be going towards one thing, but many.
Paying for things like the extra investments we need to make to underground lines and to insulate lines and to put on the fast trip technology that will shut off a power line as soon as it has a fault so it doesn't start a wildfire.
It can also be used for research and development of new technologies. Plaisted says in general, a flat fee is a way of encouraging people to use more kilowatts of electricity, like by purchasing electric vehicles or an induction cooktop, as opposed to using fossil fuels.
We used to actually encourage conservation by giving discounts for lower energy use. We're flipping that on its head and now saying, we're going to give you a discount for increased energy use.
PG&E says the fixed fee will go into effect in early 2026.
The fixed fee of $24 is much lower than what utilities were asking for. They wanted a charge of $53.71 per month. To the South Bay now, BART will soon be getting a major funding boost from the federal government to build out an extension from San Jose to Santa Clara. The 6-mile, 4-station extension would connect the Berryessa station in North San Jose to the city of Santa Clara. Transit officials announced that the Biden administration will be spending over $500 million to help fund this project, a funding boost they say was sorely needed.
It is a nationally important project. It is one of the most important projects in this budget. It is the second highest project with an allocation. And what that means is that this project has huge support.
VTA officials say early construction for the project is set to start this spring, while tunneling for the BART extension is expected to start next year.
Well, live look at SFO, where First Lady Dr. Jill Biden is expected to land within the next hour or so. She will attend a fundraiser in Marin County this evening and then join President Biden on the campaign trail right here in the Bay Area.
And President Biden's expected to land later on this evening. He and the First Lady will attend 2 re-election fundraisers tomorrow, one in Palo Alto, hosted by Marissa Mayer, the former CEO of Yahoo, and the other is in Portola Valley at the home of a venture capitalist billionaire. Tickets to that range between $6,000 and $100,000.
And while Biden raises campaign cash, his Republican rivals stuck in a New York courtroom. And today, adult film star Stormy Daniels gave more combative testimony at Donald Trump's criminal trial. Michael George has the details.
On the stand Thursday, Stormy Daniels gave more details about her alleged sexual encounter with Donald Trump. The adult film star testified she felt shock and surprise when she came back to the Lake Tahoe hotel room in 2006 and saw Trump on the bed. She called it a power shift because she earlier felt she had control of the situation. The former president's lawyers repeatedly accused her of fabricating the story. "You're making this up, right?" said one defense lawyer, to which Daniels replied, "No."
This is purely and simply election interference. There is no case.
The presumptive Republican presidential nominee once again railed against the charges. He's accused of falsifying business records in connection with payments to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen. Prosecutors say Cohen was given $130,000 to buy Daniels' silence ahead of the 2016 election. Trump's lawyers argue the money was to cover Cohen's legal fees.
This is about, they're trying to prosecute this guy for how something was recorded, and that's all it is.
Florida Senator Rick Scott joined Trump in court Thursday.
This is just pure political persecution.
The next witness on the stand was a junior Trump Organization bookkeeper. Rebecca Minocchio testified she sent checks to the White House about once a week to get Trump's signature. Prosecutors say Trump personally signed 9 of the checks reimbursing Cohen.
Well, literally just minutes ago, it pretty much became official. The Oakland International Airport will change its name. Port of Oakland commissioners voted unanimously to rebrand it as San Francisco Bay Oakland International Airport. They say it will help out-of-towners with geographical awareness. The airport code is staying the same, as well as the logo. The port is also countersuing San Francisco. The city filed a lawsuit to fight that name change. City Attorney David Chu said it infringes on SFO's trademark. He said they've been offered to collaborate with Oakland to choose an alternative name, but to no avail. He said, quote, "If Oakland continues to rebuff our offers to partner, we'll have to move forward with the next steps in our lawsuit and seek a preliminary injunction to stop infringement on SFO's trademark."
The San Francisco Unified School District is facing a budget crunch, and that could lead to job cuts and even school closures. The school district is projecting a $420 million budget deficit next year. That's according to the San Francisco Examiner. A new state audit finds in order to deal with the district's financial troubles, it will need to lay off more than 300 employees and also close down schools. The report also says lack of staff training and fallout from its faulty payroll system are to blame. The district tells us it's taking steps to remain financially secure and says, quote, "It is clear that opportunities for growth and improvement exist throughout the entire system. We are committed to accelerating our efforts to addressing the remaining concerns to ensure that San Francisco public schools are places where students can learn, grow, and thrive."
And still ahead, how some local Bay Area students could help reshape the experience of millions of users on X.
And then, are credit card companies skimping on rewards like frequent flyer miles? Congress intends to find out.
And the search continues for 2 skiers lost in the avalanche in Utah, as well as the condition of a 3rd skier who managed to get out.